women's bodies are beautiful and they could stand on their own. Sometimes it's like when I go to the gym and see all these young people, it's like I'm kind of in the minorities. I feel like I'm in the minority sometimes not having one. If I want a piece of art, I'll put it up on my walls. Well, that kind of puzzles me sometimes, what the thought process is or what's going on in the synapses. Hey, YouTube, rambling with the bramble. And today I wanted to discuss the popularity of tattoos and the growth and what's driven the explosion in the popularity of them. Now, in all transparency, I just wanted to mention that I have no tattoos nor ever plan on getting one. And also, this isn't a diss on tattoos or people with them or people that make or create them. I have relatives and friends who create or are in the business of tattoos, tattoo artists. So yeah, I always ponder the subject when I look around and see everybody that has them. So yeah, tattoos, and why are they? What has caused the explosion? On Rambling with the Bramble. Now, when I was younger and growing up, or even in my 20s and 30s, tattoos weren't really a thing. Hardly anyone had one, except for some guys in the military, in the Navy, maybe with an anchor or a heart that said "mom" inside of it, that with "mom" written inside the heart. And like I said, it wasn't really a thing. It was rarely discussed, so it's definitely something that's come onto the scene that I've noticed in like the past couple decades, where it's really changed and the popularity has exploded, maybe since the early 2000s. So I wondered what drove the growth and popularity of tattoos. Like anything else in our society, trends come and go, whether it be, fashion, style, and culture. And conformity and individuality, for better or worse, is just part of who we are as humans. And tattoos can obviously be included in those things as a trend in the past couple decades. And I've heard various people explain different reasons why they get them. One might be to represent a significant moment in their life, or who they are as people or part of their personality, or to observe or recognize a loved one. Another might be the artistry of it, or possibly attract a romantic interest. And I also did a little research on some of the drivers of tattoos, and they could include mainstream media exposure. Shows like Miami Ink and Ink Master have brought tattoo culture to the forefront. Celebrity endorsements have played a pretty powerful role. People like Rihanna, Justin Bieber, and Ed Sheeran, among others. Changing societal attitudes and workplace norms have made tattoos more acceptable, socially acceptable, and less associated with rebellion. Technological advances have improved safety through stringent health regulations, enhanced tattoo inks, and techniques like backlight and white tattoos. The rise of social media platforms such as Instagram, Meta, Twitter, Pinterest, and the growth of the tattoo industry through more studios, and of course FOMO, the fear of missing out, can also play a role. And nowadays, it seems like once people start getting tattoos, at least a lot of people, they keep going with it till it covers a large portion of their bodies. Like in the form of sleeves, stuff all over their backs and legs and even faces, tramp stamps, you know. So that kind of puzzles me sometimes, what the thought process is or what's going on in the synapses, about just keeping going with it and covering large percentages of their bodies. I wonder, not being a tattoo person and then seeing women do this on an increasing level. I mean, women are beautiful. As a guy, when I see a lady marked up with tattoos all over, I wonder what the deal is. You know, Women's bodies are beautiful and they could stand on their own. You know, I mean, even if you're a woman who takes even a halfway decent looking woman or is in halfway decent shape, you know. Um, so, to me, it's like, the old saying, it's like putting a bumper sticker on a Porsche, Ferrari, Jaguar. Just one person's opinion, as a guy. When I see a woman, I think of that. And doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with a nice piece of artwork if it's strategically located or you got one or two, but it just seems like it's being way overdone. On a large percentage of their bodies, and some of the artwork's pretty tacky. So yeah, just wondering what the deal is. And the only other thing I wanted to mention as far as women and tattoos is, to me, it's kind of a masculine thing. I mean, to get tattoos. And especially the frequency, or they're covering a large portion of their body, or sleeves on women, or tramp stamps or whatever. It's almost like more of a masculine than feminine, and they're trying to be too much like men. So yeah, and also it's gotten to the point where almost like if you don't get one, if you don't get a tattoo these days, it's almost like um, being rebellious or nonconformist. In the past, it was like way more people didn't have tattoos than had them. A very small percentage of the population had tattoos. So it's like at that time it was more of a rebellious, nonconformist thing. But now to me, it's more like a conformist, you know, kind of go with the crowd. And sometimes it's like when I go to the gym and see all these young people, it's like I'm kind of in the minorities. I feel like I'm in the minority sometimes not having one. So, like I said, it's almost nonconformist or being different or rebellious, not to have a tattoo these days. So, if I want to get one, I love artwork, but I don't want to get one on me that's permanent or that'll be a huge undertaking, and have it surgically removed and pay all that money to have it removed. If I want a piece of art, I'll put it up on my walls, or you know, look at a book, buy a book with some nice artwork in it, or make some doodles or sketches, or yeah. So these are just one person's opinion. I'm not putting down or dissing people with tattoos. It's just thoughts in my head, things that have been going around in my mind for a long period of time. You know, it's just a discussion and something I, always contemplate, especially with the increased popularity of tattoos. So that's this episode, Tattoo You, and Rambling in the Bramble. And like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Take care.